The deadly dengue disease has claimed yet another life in the national capital. 3-year-old Tanya succumbed to the disease today, adding to the growing list of child casualties. Tanya was a resident of South Delhi's Deoli area. She passed away after being turned away from at least 2 to 3 hospitals. Her father has blamed a government hospital in the area for negligence that led to her death. Another shocker from the national capital. A 3-year-old succumbs to dengue after she's turned away by hospitals. Her father claims that when he visited government hospitals in his area, there were no doctors present there. Yet another casualty of dengue in the national capital. The death toll currently stands at 15, in spite of the fact that the central government and the state government has issued clear guidelines saying that no patient should be turned away without providing them with urgent medical attention. We're still seeing repeated instances of patients being denied treatment by government and private hospitals. A 3-year-old succumbed to the disease today. 3-year-old Tanya was a resident of South Delhi's Deoli area. She passed away after being turned away from 2 to 3 hospitals. Her father has blamed a government hospital for negligence, which he claims took her life. Let's get a word from Anindya Banerjee, who's with us live from the national capital. Anindya, despite the central government and the state issuing repeated guidelines saying no hospital is to turn away patients without providing them with the urgent medical help or emergency treatment, we're seeing repeated instances of patients being turned away by hospitals.
Absolutely, Simi. This morning we went to Surgical Hospital to do a reality check, and what we found was absolutely shocking. A girl of 17-year-old Divya, who happened to be under, was detected with dengue. He was admitted in the government hospital in Noida, where she wasn't given any treatment for 4 consecutive days. Out of sheer desperation, his father shifted her to Surgical Hospital this morning at 4 a.m. Since 4 a.m. there has been no medication, no tablets given. Yes, the doctors saw her in emergency, but that's it, nothing beyond that. Since 4 a.m. till 12 p.m. there's been nothing, and every passing hour there has been platelet counts dropping. And while as we were recording, talking to her father, we have been stopped by the security guard, we have been shoved, we have been manhandled. I mean, even as we speak, we get to hear a very unfortunate incident of another 1.5-year-old kid who was died out of dengue. And this time again, the family has alleged of sheer indifference from the Surgical Hospital. So there has been a clear pattern. I mean, yes, the hospitals are overwhelmed. There is a deficit as far as infrastructure is concerned. Right. But there's a directive at play, and you can't. Even if you don't have the beds, the directive clearly says that you have to stabilize the patient. You can't let her or him die outside the emergency.
Absolutely. The central government has also issued a guideline saying that no hospital, private or government, can say no to a patient. Emergency treatment should be provided at all cost. We are asking our viewers if government policies and politics is responsible for Delhi's dengue crisis. We have our first caller on the phone line with us. Usha Rao from Bangalore is with us. Yes, Usha, go ahead. What do you have to say?
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, it is both government and politics that is responsible for the present crisis. Whether it is natural disasters like floods and drought, or man-made crisis like the one faced by the people of Delhi due to the outbreak of dengue, it's not only disgusting but deeply distressing to see our political parties indulge in blame game and political one-upmanship, Here we have innocent little children succumbing to the deadly dengue almost every day in the capital city, and we have politicians trying to pin the blame on one another and trying to score brownie points and make political capital out of what is definitely an avoidable human tragedy. Why can't our politicians for once forget their political differences and come together to help the citizens of Delhi and elsewhere? We have the Aam Aadmi Party and the centre blaming each other, and the Congress Party trying to fish in troubled waters, blaming both the Aam Aadmi Party and the centre. Is coming to power by hook or by crook more important for them than the welfare of the people? This is what I want to ask. And we as a nation, are always ill-prepared for any kind of natural or man-made disasters. We are always lethargic and uncaring until we are faced with a crisis of mammoth proportions. We wake up only after the disaster strikes, by which time it is too late. And I think doing politics over dead bodies is unforgivable.
Bhushan, thanks so much for speaking to us. You've made some very important points saying that politicians are trying to make political capital of a human tragedy. Political parties indulging in a blame game rather than coming together to address this crisis. Dengue is already claimed close to 15 lives in the national capital. The number of positive cases stands at 1,900. But we're seeing a massive blame game being played out with the AAP government blaming the MCD, which is run by the BJP, and the centre accusing the state of not following its advisories. We have another caller on the phone line with us, Amit from Kolkata. Yes, go ahead, Amit.
Hello.
Yes, Amit.
I wish you a happy Ganesh Chaturthi, but I don't think even God can save these little kids. If the politics goes on and at the side by side, I think the government, I mean, whosoever, government is maneuvered by man only, politics is maneuvered also by man. So I think if we do not awake, if we are not conscious, if we really do not think that it is our children, it is our, that is our own, very own, we are responsible, we should be accountable for all these things. And see the kids die. So I think the leaders should go into their own self, own look, own soil, own soul, and have to decipher that if their sons or their kids would have died in a similar fashion, that what would have happened then? So they are acting like as if they are always imposing as if something that whatever directives they are going, but at the same time the directives are almost they are inconsequential. Because it's the kids.
Absolutely. Amit, thanks so much for sharing your views with us. Repeated cases of negligence being coming to light from the national capital. Doctors turning away patients who are in urgent need of medical care. Now we've come across another story of a 3-year-old girl who succumbed to the disease after she was denied treatment by at least 2 to 3 hospitals in South Delhi. Delhi's dengue crisis is worsening with each passing day. The deadly disease has now claimed 15 lives in the national capital. There are allegations during the rounds that government and local agencies are under-reporting the number of positive cases. According to government sources, the next 15 days will be extremely crucial and a tight vigil needs to be maintained on cases that are coming up. As the crisis worsens, the Delhi High Court has issued a notice to the Delhi government, the centre and civic bodies. The court has asked concerned parties to file action taken report in 2 weeks' time. Safdarjung Hospital has been accused of turning away patients, many of whom have succumbed to dengue as medical apathy peaks at Safdarjung Hospital. Our correspondent Anindya Banerjee conducted a ground check while interacting with a patient in dire need of medical attention. Anindya and the patient were shooed away by the security staff. Take a look.
Delhi government may have ordered 3,000 new beds, may have cancelled the leaves of all the doctors and paramedics, but the fact of the matter is ground reality is very stark and very somber. 17-year-old Divya was admitted in a hospital in Noida for 4 days but couldn't get a single little bit of treatment, and since 4 a.m. in the morning she's waiting for a turn in Safdarjung Hospital with dengue. आप कौन है लड़की के?
हम पिता हैं।
क्या सुबह 4 बजे से वेट कर रहे हैं आप?
हाँ, उनका मैंने कहा इसको रेफर कर दो, आपके यहाँ फायदा नहीं हो रहा है, तो आपको रेफर करने में क्या तकलीफ है? इसकी प्लेट कौन घट रही है, तो आप कह रहे हो ठीक है, और इसको उल्टी हुई, खून आने लगा। मैंने कहा आप रेफर कर दो, आपको इसमें दिक्कत क्या हो रही है? तो रेफर करने को राजी नहीं डॉक्टर। वहाँ जो कंपाउंडर था इमरजेंसी में, वो मेरे से लड़ने लगा।
तो सुबह 4 बजे से आप यहाँ
कुछ भी कर लो जाके।
एक बात बताइए, सुबह 4 बजे से आप यहाँ वेट कर रहे हैं, तो क्या यहाँ से क्या मदद मिली?
यहाँ मैं लेके आया तो उन्होंने यहाँ इस इमरजेंसी मुझे एडमिट किया, इस बच्ची को
एडमिट किया।
हाँ, फिर वहाँ 13 नंबर वार्ड में ले गए। वहाँ पे सुबेरे से इसको कोई गोली नहीं दी गई।
So there you have it. Even the staff is not allowing us to talk to patients. This little 17-year-old Divya is waiting for a turn to get admitted, and that's what the situation is. They don't want the viewers to see the unfortunate truth, the inconvenient truth that patients are not getting treatment, the treatment that are due and the treatment that they deserve. In New Delhi, with Ajay Anindya Banerjee for India Today.
And we are asking our viewers who's responsible for Delhi's dengue crisis, and is the political blame game making the situation on the ground worse. We're asking callers to call us on the number flashing on our screens. Pradeep from Delhi is with us on the phone line. Yes, Pradeep, go ahead.
I just want to highlight the sanitation part of the problem rather than the treatment part.
Yes.
There are lots of drains, there are lots of water bodies which have a lot of mosquito which are breeding, and I'm sorry to see that none of that is being addressed. So no matter how many beds you increase in the hospital or what facilities you have, unless we can check the breeding, we will continue to have this problem.
All right, Pradeep, thanks so much for sharing your views with us. You're making a very important point. In fact, I'll take that question to India Today's Aninda Banerjee, who's also with us live in the national capital. Aninda, this is something that a lot of people have been complaining about. There's lack of hygiene at these hospitals. Also, there are treating dengue patients. There are several places where there's water that's collecting, and it's actually a breeding ground for mosquitoes. And there's no effort that's being made by these hospitals, by the hospital staff, to clean up their surrounding areas.
Very true, Simi. I mean, particularly if you talk about government hospitals and MCD hospitals, the amount of hygiene that is expected to be maintained, particularly in a hospital, those are not maintained. Talking about Safdarjung Hospital itself, yesterday there has been water that has collected in outside one of the operation theatres that was widely reported in the media. Today India Today went there and checked. Those things were taken care of, but only after the media highlighted the issue. Today, even as we speak, there are a couple of hospitals in East Delhi where stagnant waters are there, and barely within a periphery of probably 10 or 15 meters, a stretcher, patients with stretchers are waiting for their turn. So that is the kind of hygiene that are being maintained. Hospitals, washrooms are in pathetic condition. Even we are told in RML hospital, the drinking water is not available in abundance. I mean, for the last 48 hours, there has been almost a dearth of drinking water facility. So those things are there, and those things needs to be taken care of. But that won't happen overnight. That had to be, if it had to be taken care of, it had to happen with a coordinated effort both by the central government and the state government as well as the MCD. Now here we have it that what we see, rather than a coordination, that's a political bickering, and that's the unfortunate part. People are dying. A 7-year-old have died, and following which the parents killed themselves. Then a 6-year-old dies from Srinivasapuri. Today we are hearing a little kid as young as 1.5 years old dies, and yet we see that Aam Aadmi Party ruled central Delhi government says that MCD is ruled by BJP, and the BJP ruled MCD is leveling allegations, counter allegations against Aam Aadmi Party. This is the last thing we would expect, at least in a humanitarian crisis as Delhi is facing this point of time.
And in this, stay on with us now. As the number of deaths from dengue in the capital rises, there's also a corresponding increase in the political blame game that we're seeing over the dengue crisis. Congress party staged a protest outside Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's residence over rising cases of dengue. Prominent Delhi Congress leaders including Ajay Makin and Ragini Nayak were seen participating in that protest. Congress has been demanding action against the Delhi Health Minister.
I'm standing next to the house of the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. As you can see behind me, that there's a huge rally which the Congress party has planned here as far as dengue is concerned. We can also see that leaders of the Congress party are here, and behind that the Chief of Delhi Congress, Mr. Ajay Makan, and the General Secretary in charge, Mr. P.C. Chaka, are also here. The basic plan of the Congress party here is to take out a rally till the house of the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, criticizing the way the Delhi government has been handling the crisis of dengue, which has hit the capital in the last couple of weeks. And now what we expect is that this is going to be another political point which the Congress tries to score over the Aam Aadmi Party. With camera person Sanjay Bhati in Delhi, Ashar Khan for India Today.
The political blame game over the increasing cases of dengue continues in the national capital, with the Congress blaming the Aam Aadmi Party-led Delhi government and BJP-led MCD for not being better prepared to handle the surge in the number of dengue cases post-monsoon. We're asking viewers if they think that this political blame game is adding to the menace of dengue instead of addressing the crisis, looking for solutions. The political leaders are indulging in a blame game. We have another caller on the phone line. Kiran from Delhi is with us. Yes, Kiran, go ahead. What do you have to say?
Yes, I'm just point out one very crucial thing about dengue is that I'm living in Vasant Vihar, and we have two open drains, one going towards Vasant Kunj and the other alongside the outer ring road. And they are full of muck, and no one cleans those drains. And all these mosquitoes are breeding there. And
of course, and these open drains are a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Kiran, you're making a very important point here. It's not just fogging that needs to be done by the MCD, but also ensuring that proper sewage that a proper sewage system is also set up in the capital. Open drains are cleaned up or are at least shut down to ensure that they don't become a breeding ground for mosquitoes. We'll continue tracking developments on this story. The death toll for dengue currently stands at 15. Almost 1,900 people have tested positive for the disease.